Welcome to the Bookish Quilter, where we talk about quilts and we talk about books. My name is Barbara. Do you need a quilt in a hurry? Do you like making charity quilts? Do you have a lot of fat quarters? If you've answered yes to any of these, Supersize Me is the quilt for you. If it looks a little familiar, it's because it's a larger version of a quilt I featured in my video 2 weeks ago called Ton of Bricks. And Ton of Bricks was constructed from 2.5-inch strips, making it a good quilt to use with a jelly roll. This one is 3.5-inch strips, specifically 3.5 by 6.5-inch pieces, and is perfect for using fat quarters or, of course, scraps. I used a combination of both. I call this Supersize Me, and I'm going to show you Ton of Bricks and show you this, and you can see the difference. Ton of Bricks I laid out horizontally. My blocks were longer than they were high, and they finish at 4 inches high, 6 inches wide. Each of these bricks was cut 2.5 by 4.5 inches. And as I said, I laid it out horizontally, so the bricks are wider than they are high. Supersize Me, the bricks are 3.5 by 6.5 inches, and the block finishes at 6 by 9. And I laid them out vertically. In Ton of Bricks, I constructed the horizontal rows and laid all the odd number rows in one direction and flipped the even number ones 180 degrees. In this one, I did the same thing, but I did them vertically. I constructed all the rows the same way, and then all of my odd number rows are going one way, all of the even number rows were going the other way. I will show you here. Here I have 8 blocks sewn together. You construct your quilt, your blocks, by sewing 2 bricks together along the longer seam and then sewing a 3rd brick across. You're going to press this seam towards the darker fabric and this seam towards this piece you just added. Going to make all the blocks the same way. You're going to sew them into your strip. In this case, this will be your vertical strip. You're going to press all the seams the same way. You make all 8 of your rows, or however many rows you have, you construct them the same way. And then just like you did with Ton of Bricks, you're going to take your odd number rows, lay them this way, take your even number rows, flip it 180 degrees. And that's going to stagger these, and it's going to put your points together where they're going to match. Your seam allowances will nest, and you'll have matching seams. So again, if you need a little more detail, go back to the Ton of Bricks video. But this is a very, very fast, easy quilt to make. My little Ton of Bricks quilt measured 48 by 52 and had 104 blocks in it. This one measures 48 by 56 and has 56 blocks in it. So it does go together substantially quicker. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to cut your fat quarter. First thing you need to do is trim off your lower edge and your right edge so you have a perfect 90-degree angle here. When you do that, you need to make sure that your top to bottom measurement is a minimum of 17.5 inches. Your side to side is a minimum of 19.5 inches. You're now going to cut 3 6.5-inch strips from your fat quarter. going to need to turn your pieces 90 degrees, layer this edge here, and you're going to cut 3.5-inch strips. You're going to get 5 3.5-inch strips across this piece here. You have 15 pieces from your fat quarter. The book I'm going to talk about today is a nonfiction book. It's the first book I read by this author. It wasn't the last. It's Isaac Storm by Erik Larson. The storm referred to is the 1900 hurricane that devastated Galveston, Texas, and killed 6,000 people. Isaac is Isaac Klein, a U.S. meteorologist for the Weather Bureau. And it basically is the story of how some miscalculations and failure to see some of the discrepancies in the weather led to this tragedy. The U.S. forecasters would not listen to the meteorologists from Cuba, who were some of the best trained in the world at the time as far as hurricanes go. And to their loss. And basically, as I said, it's the first book I've read by Erik Larson. It wasn't the last. He's a great nonfiction writer, and I recommend this book highly. I've passed it on to other people who've passed it on and passed it on. And a few weeks ago, I was able to find a copy for free, and I said, I need to read this again. So there you go. Now, I hope you've liked this video. If you have, please like, subscribe, comment. Stay tuned for more. I have another one coming up very soon, possibly just within a couple more days. So I hope to see you. Have a great day. Happy quilting. Happy reading.